Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nedarim, daf Iyun Beis, number 72. The Gemara on Iyun Beis and Beis starts off, Ba Yerami Barachama, Ba Ma'al Shiaper Below Shmiya. Can a husband be made for Nedarim without hearing about them, right? The normal way the Torah says the Baal is made for the Nedarim is the woman makes a neder, the wife makes a neder, the husband, Mishama Isha, he has the Baal, Isha is the husband. The husband hears about it, and he has 24 hours to be made for the Nedarim. He's made for the Nedarim. So he has 24 hours to be made for the Nedarim. What about it if he doesn't hear about it? Could be made for Nedarim, right? He just says, you're mufar, right? It happened to be shtuk neder, but he didn't hear about it. Does that work? The Gemara says, V'shama isha dafka. It says in the pasuk he has to hear about it. Is that literally he has to hear about it? Olav dafka doesn't have to be it actually hears about it. The normal way to be made for Nedarim is when you hear about it. That's when you're upset about it, or you want to be made for the Nedarim. But even if he didn't hear about it, he could do it. So the Gemara tries to bring a proof from our Mishnah. It says about the father. The beginning of the Mishnah on Ayin Beis on Beis on top talks about a father and talks about a husband. The father, right, before she gets married, the father says, whatever Nedarim you made in my house, even though I don't know about them, are mufar. So you see, they can make for the Nedarim, even though he doesn't know about them. So my answer for that, no, it's not a proof. The Chishama who did Mayfair, like the Gemara explains, he's really prompting his daughter, reveal to me all the Nedarim, and when you reveal them to me, then I'll be made for them, but he has to actually hear about them. So the Gemara tries to bring a proof from the Seifa, where we talk about a husband. Tash on Seifa, the Aris before she gets married, he says there also, right? Any Nedarim, because once a husband gets married and she made Nedarim before the marriage, ain't a Baal made for Rekodin. He can't be made for Nedarim that she made before the marriage. So he wants to find out Nedarim. So the answer is no. Now, this is different than what it says by the father. By the father, it says L'chishama hu de mefer. It says when he hears about it, he's mefer. He actually has to hear about it. By the husband, he says L'chishamana. Right, I'm made for them now. Right, I'm made for the Nedarim now as an aris when I have the ability to make for the Nedarim, because an aris has the ability to make for the Nedarim. Right, once he gets married, he can't be made for the Nedarim anymore. But if he's made for the Nedarim now, even though he doesn't hear about it, and he has to hear about it according to the Gemara, this is what we're trying to prove over here, that really maybe he has to hear about it. So when he gets married and they have a closer relationship, they share more private details. She reveals to him, she makes him Nedarim. So then the Shmiya, when he hears about it, right, is the Tanai, is a fulfillment of the stipulation, and therefore, retroactively, the Neder is Mufar. Maybe it's not Mufar retroactively, maybe from Mikan al-Haba is Mufar, but it's not considered a Baal made for Bekodin because he already stated, right, during the Erusin, when he has Koach to be made for the Nedarim before the marriage, that when I hear the Neder, I'm made for it. Made for it now. I'm made for the Nedarim now. So, therefore, it's connected to the Erusin. It's no longer a Baal has been made for a Kodman because he told you he wanted to be made for already as an Aris, and that's okay. So why does the Gemara say the same thing by the father, right? The father before she gets married. He has no koach over her when she gets married. Why can't he say, he could say, when I hear about it after you got married, I'm made for it now when I have koach to be made for it. When I hear about it, I'll feel the Tanai of the Torah, V'shama Isha, or V'shama the Aviyah, the father will hear about it. And then I'm made for retroactively. Why only does it work by the husband and it doesn't work by the father? So, based on this, I want to say a unique explanation. The difference between a husband and a father is very different. Now, we talked about yesterday about Aris, the joint ownership of Aris. Right? Generally, a father is made for the Nedarim of his daughter. It doesn't have to be, right, Beino lebeina or Inoi nefesh. The only types of Nedarim that a husband can make for are two types of Nedarim. They have to be either things that are between them, usually sexually between them, or Dvarim Shal Inui Nefesh, where she's causing pain, afflicting pain on herself. She's not eating meat, she's not drinking wine. And the reason that the Torah allowed the husband to be made for those Nedarim is because your wife is not going to be happy. She's going to be in a state of depression and a state of pain. And who wants to be married to a woman in pain? She's going to complain all the time. So it's for the convenience of the husband, really, right? She's trying to forbid relationships with him, or she's trying to cause herself harm. So therefore, when they're married, the koach that the Torah gave to be made for the Nedarim, the husband's doing, he's not being made for the koach that the Torah gave him to be made for the Nedarim is not so much to protect the woman. It's for the rights of the husband. The husband has the rights, things that are going to cause, gonna be deleterious for his marriage, are going to hurt his marriage. So he's able to make for those Nedarim, only those Nedarim. The father is a different purpose. The father, when she's a Ketana or Nara, she's making Nedarim, she's usually a young girl. She's very, whimsical, and she can get very emotional and make Nedarim. So therefore, to protect her, the father's job is to protect his daughter. Everyone knows that. The father protects his daughter until she gets married. Right? The father's obligation to protect his daughter. So it's a protection. The Torah gave him ability to make for the Nedarim through as a protection for the daughter, that she shouldn't, she shouldn't get involved in Nedarim, because Nedarim make her life difficult. So he protects her physically. He protects her in Ruchnius also, which Ruchnius affects the Gashmias, that she's forbidding things upon herself. But it's a protection. It's not something which is for the convenience of the father. It's for the daughter, right? She's not mature enough to make decisions herself. So the father protects her. That's what, right? And when she's not in Marasa, she's even more vulnerable, because she's not in her father's house. She's not in her husband's house. She's more emotional. So therefore, the Torah placed the responsibility on both the Aros and the father to get along and to make a joint decision to jointly be made for the neder, for that added level of protection, to make sure that the husband and the father and the Aros are invested properly in the welfare of the Namarasa, because she's very vulnerable. The husband's relationship with his wife and the ability to make for Nedarim is very different than the Aros and the father. It's not for protection of the woman. It's really a Namarasa, right? It's not like she's a young girl. A woman who's married, even if she's 30, 40, 50 years old, where maybe she's more mature, but it's a service for the husband, so his wife doesn't ruin the marriage. That's really what it is. A very different thing. So therefore, the Tanai works, like the Gemara says, for the father to say, right, when I hear about the Nedarim, I'm made for them now. That doesn't work. That doesn't work by the father. Although it does work by the husband. The reason it works by the husband is because the concept of Father's Nedarim for the husband is really for his benefit, not for the woman's benefit, for his benefit, to maintain a healthy marriage. So therefore, the Torah gave him a power to block the Nedarim, right? We could assume, right, when he hears about it, his hafara will stay in place, right? He's been made for any Nedarim that she makes, because the only Nedarim he has the ability to be made for are Nedarim beino lebeina and Iyun nefesh. So therefore, when he hears about it, we assume, right, that Tanai automatically, kicks in the Maisa of hafara, because of course he's going to be made for any Nedarim that's beino lebeina Iyun nefesh, otherwise it's going to ruin his marriage. However, by the father, right, some Nedarim might be actually good for a person to make upon themselves. So we don't assume necessarily that the father or the Aros is going to want to be made for every neder that he hears about. So therefore, you have to actually hear the neder first and then be made for. To be made for on the condition, when I hear about it, it will automatically be blocked. We don't know that the father or the Aros is going to want to block it, right? Maybe it's beneficial for the girl. So it's a protection for the girl. So therefore, we don't assume that the father or the Aros is going to want to be made for. So therefore, he has to actually hear it and then be made for. As opposed to the husband, where we assume he's always going to want to do it. It's for his convenience, and therefore we assume, even if he makes his Tanai, once he hears about it, if it's beino lebeino Iyun nefesh, he's always going to be made for the Nedarim. So therefore, it could work with his Tanai. That's the difference between the husband and the father and the Aros. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you on the next one.